Welcome back, everybody, to another Pittsburgh Pirates franchise episode. We start today at 37 and 38, and this is going to be a big and very important episode as we will hit the 2025 draft. Before we do that, let's recap real quick. We won Game 1 versus Detroit, lost Game 2, and in Game 3 take the L as well. That was Skeens pitching in Game 3, thought our chances were pretty good. And then we will host the Texas Rangers and be met with a critical situation right away. Nick Gonzalez at the plate, and they defeat us 1-0. No offense today for Pittsburgh, unfortunately. Second game in the series comes up. We've got Mitch Keller on the mound, and that is a 1-9 loss. So that's even uglier. An 0-1 hurts, but a 1-9 is just a blowout that really hits the morale. Shane Baz in Game 3. Let's see if we can move on from there and bounce back. Nope, that is a sweep. The Texas Brooms are out in force. And then in Milwaukee, we lose Game 1. The Brews are doing above 500 ball right now. So I'd like to stay competitive with them as well. Brendan Dixon has a bruised arm. And Bubba Chandler is no longer injured. Fantastic news there, as AAA will see the return of the young phenom. Brendan Dixon no longer injured. Okay, we got through that pretty quickly. We only win 1 of 3 against Miami. And then we will host the Mets. They are 47 and 35 right now, so they're playing very good ball. And that's an 8-1 victory to start it off. Mitch Keller getting the nod there. And let's see what happened. Everybody got a hit except for Spencer Horwitz. He was the sacrifice today. 3 RBIs picked up by Triolo, 2 by Joey Bart, and then a couple solo ones there. Triolo with a home run. Sung-Jae Chang powered a 1 over the wall. That's pretty awesome to see. Keller goes 8, only gives up 5 hits and 1 earned run with 8 strikeouts, no walks, and Bailey Falter clean behind him. I want to take a look real quick to recap the development of Sung-Jae Chang since he's been called up to the major leagues. He's got a +7 in contact versus lefties, +3 to power versus lefties, +2s and +1s for the rest of them, but he's performing very well right now through 85 at-bats. He's averaging .259. Now, that OBP is a little low at .281, but he's slugging over .400, and I'm very happy with young 23-year-old Sung-Jae Chang. If this is how he starts his major league career, there's absolutely so many cases of it being a worse start than that, so congrats to him. 39 and 44, we move on to Game 2 against the Mets. Shane Baz on the mound today. And that is a loss, another one, 4-5 this time, as Baz takes the L, but his ERA is still .285. Game 3, we'll see Andrew Heaney, and he's trying to get his ERA under 5. We have a critical situation. Yeah, let's get in there. It's been a little bit. All right, bottom of the 9th, we're down by 1. Man on first with 1 out for Jack Sawinski, who today so far is 0 for 2. Take that one outside, and the count is 2-2 against Edwin Diaz now. Pitch number 20 from him. And he's trying to close this out. And that's another easy take on the outside, so we've run the count full. Here we go. On deck is Sung-Jae Chang. What a moment that would be to get that young kid. And that's a walk. Sawinski showing discipline. Working the count, making Diaz strain himself further. And the Mets skipper is going to come out. They've seen enough. They're going to take out Edwin Diaz and replace him with Jason Adam. Through 37 games so far, this would be 38, he's got a .315 ERA. Averages and the splits look okay against him. Can Sung-Jae Chang bring anybody home? It's 0-2 with 2 men on and 1 out. And Chang lifts that to center field, and it is pretty much right at him. We'll burn our second out there, and the runners do not advance. Last hope is going to be Nick Gonzalez. Averaging .253. Today, he is 0 for 3. And he is our final hope here against Jason Adam. Okay. Able to defend the top of the zone there, and he has not been clutch this year. 131 average. With runners in scoring position, that does not bode well. But it's 0-1 right now. And he'll take a shot right on the hip, actually, on the belt, man. Ouch. All right. Bases loaded for O'Neal Cruz as the lineup turns over, and here we go. It's a full count. 3-2. Bases loaded. Bottom of the 9th. 2 outs. O'Neal Cruz, our star, will fight that one off. Chance of let's go Bucks. The fans want to see it. They're hungry. Pretty much anything beyond the infield. And that's a swing and a miss. Cruz will strike out, and the Mets will take the game. A disappointing end. The fans booing us there, but you can't win them all. Like we've talked about, baseball's a game of failure. And that's another 1 out of 3 series for us. Hunter Harvey strained his elbow ligament, and he'll be out for 1 to 2 weeks, and that's going to hurt a little bit. All right, so now we're at the very bottom. The Reds have gone above us. We are 2-8 in our last 10 as the Brewers are sitting on the top of the division. And I want to take a look here at Carson Fulmer and the development that he's been getting. A +3 to his walks so far this year. And I like that. The clutch has come up. He's at 79 now. And through 83 2/3 innings, he's given up 8 home runs. He's walked 22 batters, struck out 78, and his ERA is 2.26. Carson Fulmer is doing really well right now. And I just want to show that because even with limited development sometimes, these guys can really start taking off in how they're performing. And the Braves acquire Andres Munoz. Okay, a 2.83 ERA. So good job for them, I guess. And we lose game 2 and 3 against St. Louis. So yeah, we got swept there. That is 5 losses in a row as we move into Seattle. Try to slug it out with the Mariners. And we are still searching for our 40th win. We lose game 1 against the Mariners right there. Shane Baz picking up the L again. A 7-8 day, though. Offense was there. Just couldn't hold them. And we get shut out in game 2. Okay. So 6 in a row now. We still don't have 40 wins. We're even further behind the Reds. And this division is getting further and further out of our grasp. I do want to update where we're at in the standings with other franchises. We were 17th for average. We are 21st in runs right now with Brian Reynolds leading. In hits, we are right there in the middle at 15th, tied. Brian Hayes with 85 is our leader there. For home runs, we're at the bottom of the pack at 28. Spencer Horwitz leading with 17. For RBIs, we are expectedly low, 22. And Spencer Horwitz, again, our leader there. For stolen bases, we're actually third, tied for third, with 94 stolen bases, 22 of them from O'Neal Cruz. That's pretty cool to see. The OBP, I expect us to be middle of the pack, 18 at a 318 OBP rating. Over on the pitcher side for the ERA, I expect this to be a little low. 18, actually a little higher than what I thought. Shane Baz currently the ERA leader with 3.07. And Skeens has been slipping a little bit. He's at 3.71 right now, so hopefully he can bounce back. For blown saves, we don't get too many save opportunities, but let's take a look. Holderman has 7, and we're tied for 12th with 12 total. So just a brief update there on how the team is doing. I know last episode we recapped individual statistics, and there we go, preventing a sweep against Seattle, a 9-0 shutout victory. We lose game 1 versus Kansas City. And game 2 as well. So if the trend holds, we'll win game 3. There you go. You can set your watch by it now. 8-3. Shane Baz picks up the W. And even with the losses on his record, he's still got only a handful. All right, so center field, O'Neal Cruz right now is actually at the very top of the All-Star voting by only 1,000 votes above Jackson Merrill and within 5 of Michael Harris. But I wanted to point that out as we're nearing the All-Star break and the draft. Right now, O'Neal Cruz is our projected All-Star, and that is it. All right, so Spencer Horwitz is 2 for 4 on the day here. I'm going to go ahead and sim it. We win 8-4, so that's nice. There we go. Starting the series off right. That's 2 wins in a row. Biggest streak we've had in a little while, and today is the day of the draft. Now, this might be somewhat of a controversial draft, but hopefully you guys are going to be an open book here for what I want to discuss. What I'd like to do first is review the top picks because, as we all know, the first pick in the draft that we make is going to be the most important. And so I did a lot of diligence behind the scenes. I skipped a lot of that in showing in the recent episodes. And so I wanted to recap here and show you where we eventually landed on. And I've got Steve Seidlinker, a third baseman who looks to have every piece of the puzzle as my number 1 selection if we can get him. He's number 1 on the MLB board. And we don't pick at number 1, but I'm hopeful. Dalton Frazier is a good backup, I think, at shortstop. Draft rank number 2 on the MLB board. Mostly contact, vision, and discipline with speed, decent fielding. And then on the outskirts, I've got James Brubaker, a closing pitcher with nearly A potential at a minimum, and a 71 to 76 overall. He could be great. Edward Ray as another outlier pick just in case. Looks to have really good potential and a decent starting point. So somebody like Edward Ray would have a short pipeline up into the majors and could be beneficial pretty quick. So let's go ahead and get this draft started. We will play through the first 6 picks here. And then what I'd like to do is as the rounds come up, I want to go over 1 or 2 guys if we have the time to do so between the computer picks. And for the first pick of the draft, it goes to the Nationals for Carlos Tejada. Draft rank 16 on the MLB board, but the Nationals reach backwards to pull him at number 1. Here we go with the number 2 pick, and it is Edward Ray, who we just spoke about, albeit briefly. His draft rank is number 7. And so both picks have gone back quite a bit. We got closer there with 2, and for number 3, the Seattle Mariners are going to pick Dalton Frazier. And here we go again, another guy that we highlighted, but that so far that means Sidelinker is still available. So Brubaker as a closer could be there. And then I've arranged them as well as when I expect them to go. And so the better guys are towards the top of this list, of course. And Randy Judd, a starting pitcher, just went to the Colorado Rockies. I did look at him as well. And some of these picks I'll have to explain kind of in the moment. If we need to later, I can expound more on why I did a certain pick or not. But here we go. Steve Sidelinker is still available. And he could have all the way up to an 89 overall. I saw enough, getting him even just to the scouting progress, that I'm convinced Steve Sidelinker needs to be taken if he's available. Like I said, Brubaker is set up as one of those alternates as a closing pitcher, but for the number 6 pick overall in the draft, I think I would really, really need to see that potential go all the way up to 99. Otherwise, I don't think that it's as sure as it looks. I mean, he's obviously going to be incredible, but Steve Sidelinker as a third baseman looks like he could be near generational, and I think that's going to be more impactful on an everyday basis. So Steve Sidelinker is going to be our first pick. He's got his eyes closed as he meditates and just can't believe that he got picked by the Pirates. Love to see that. The focus, the pure joy on that face. Maybe I'm just reading into it. I don't know. But Sidelinker is the first pick that we make. Let's go ahead and sim to the next pick, and we've got a few options here. Gilberto Pacheco is there, and look at this, the sibling, Fred Sidelinker. He's a starting pitcher who's got up to 97 potential. That's really interesting. But I really liked Pacheco, and we actually discovered him, and he's got up to an 87 potential, and he could have an incredible overall to start with as well. So I think I'll take the discovery guy. It's going to be Gilberto Pacheco at number 2 for us. Well, round 2, really. But that's a third baseman and a second baseman. Half of the infield is now covered, and we move on to the next pick. Few options here. Gilberto Colon from New Jersey looks really good. He looks solid to start, up to an 83 potential. Pretty balanced all around. Buck Musser, another starting pitcher with 70 to 90. Could be another guy, Rafael Andino. And he's a relief pitcher out of Venezuela. He also looks really good and has higher potential there. So I'm torn here because there's a few different reasons. You know, I'm looking at the pitch mix now. A few different reasons you could go in whichever direction. There should be another guy that I was thinking of. So Cyrus Bliss is another one. This is for, let me see, what was the pick number that I had? 84 is where we're at. And so Cyrus Bliss at 79 on the MLB board is somebody that should be going here in the next few picks if everything works out there. So there's a chance. I really, really like his potential and where he could end up. Oh, gosh, I don't know. It's just really tough making these decisions, and this is a stressful part of the draft, but I think with the high-ish overall, there's a reason that you would choose a guy that's closer to the show when we need help. And I think that ultimately Gilberto Colon is going to be that guy to help us more quickly. And I pretty much have made this decision. Ralph Page could be another one. Oh my gosh, hang on now. So I forgot about him. We discovered him as well, a right fielder with high contact vision, discipline, speed, and he'll be a competent defender. This actually could be more enticing. So these discovery picks right now, I'm actually feeling pretty good about. Charles Walters, another one. And you guys see the dilemma here because, like, I feel like each card that I'm bringing up looks good. And so it's difficult both in real time and in planning ahead. You don't know who's going to be available. And suddenly when you get to your pick and there's 3, 4, 5 options, it's so difficult, but I'm going to go with Ralph Page. Okay, so I've made the final decision. We did discover him. His draft rank was 97, so there's a chance that he could have lasted longer, but I get nervous when I've got a guy who's pretty much locked to be at least decent. Let's go ahead and get to our next pick, and at the top of the list is Gilberto Colon, so he is still available. Now, I'm pretty sure that we discovered him, like I said. Cyrus Bliss is also still available, and that's really enticing. Problem is, Colon is a starting pitcher, and then Cyrus is a relief pitcher, and I feel like the weight in this game is still leaned towards starting pitchers. You need a better starter more often than not to keep your team in the game because there's so much more exposure time. So I'm going to go with Gilberto Colon. I'm not downplaying the importance of relievers in any way, but I think a starting pitcher 5 days a week, if he can keep your team in there, or not 5 days a week, every 5 days, I think that a starting pitcher right now to me is more valuable. And so we move on to our next pick. We are picking here at 114, and we've got Alex Diaz still available. He looks incredible on the defensive side and with speed. He's got contact, vision, and discipline. We've also got reliever Francesco. Oh, no, I'm just skipping ahead. Here we go. Neville Schwartz. He's available still, and look at the speed there. He's got really good potential. His overall's not bad, and I think if we develop that bat and the fielding, he could absolutely be a guy. That speed is going to open up a lot more options. So even if the bat struggles right now, I mean, there's guys like PCA who is just now turning on the bat, but his speed creates so much danger on the base paths. I really like that, and so I'm going to pick Neville Schwartz there. So I'm pretty happy with that. A center fielder, and I think this is another discovery. This actually might be just the discovery draft for me. Let's go ahead and get to the next round, see who's available at the top of the board. Alex Diaz is still available. So yeah, the guys that I'm discovering with extreme high potentials and they're not ranked on the MLB board are working out for me so far. And so I'm making these picks based on what I'm seeing and not based on just what the MLB draft rank says or anything like that. So I'm going to look through a few more guys, and I think ultimately we're going to come back to Alex Diaz. I really like the contact numbers, the defensive side of the ball, and the speed. I think he's another one that's going to need very little time to get ready for the show, and we'll probably see him sooner rather than later. So Alex Diaz is going to be the second to last pick that we make in this draft at 144, and we move to the final draft pick this year at 174. And we got 4 guys left on the board still. Nelson Valdez looked pretty good. Alan Priest, I think out of these 4, is probably going to be the guy to do it. He's got pretty good velocity. He's not going to walk anybody. That's an elite level attribute spread right there. 81 to 96 currently is pretty insane. He throws a 4-pitch mix, and they're all just pretty good. His 4-seamer is the best of the bunch, but I think that Alan Priest definitely has a place in this organization, and so I'm happy to see him. It would be funny if he was on the Padres with that last name, but we'll take him instead, and we'll see if we can plunder some with the Priest. And that will do it for the draft. The 2025 draft has come and gone, and now we just try to sign our draft picks. I will be trying to skip ahead further now that we're on the back half of the year. Today's the Home Run Derby, and we can definitely skip that. We lose the game versus Minnesota for Game 3 of the series, so we do not clinch a sweep. And looking at the All-Star batting order, we've got Spencer Horwitz. He is there. So that is awesome to see. Spencer Horwitz has had a great year. As long as I'm not controlling him, this guy has just hit the stitches off the ball, and it's been really fun. And now the Dodgers are interested in offering us a trade. What do you suppose they have in mind? They want Bednar. And, oh, I thought that said Mike Soroka. No, Mike Sirota from center field. Where is he even at on their list? 21 years old, C potential, 63 overall. Decent stats to start, but with how Bednar's been pitching, yeah, I don't think so. All right, so it's now the Futures game, and Bubba Chandler is supposed to get the start, and I definitely want to hop in. We've got to see how the kid does against the best of the best down in the minor leagues. And so far, he has been doing phenomenal. In his recent games here, he's only given up 4 home runs in the past 10, but he was injured for a while. So looking at the last 4 is really the true gauge, and he has been awesome. Really, really love what he's been able to show us so far. He's back from injury, and he is now the future of starting pitching in this franchise, here recognized officially in the Futures game. And we'll begin against Marcelo Mayer. And that is a dot on the outer edge corner. A fastball for strike 1. The control on display from the very first pitch. Very cool. And we tie him up inside, and it only takes 2 pitches to get an out. Bubba Chandler starting off as well as you can. And it's Jason Chorio. 0-1 against him. And a pop-up as he's underneath that into shallow left field. And it's only taken 4 pitches to get 2 outs for Bubba Chandler. Pretty awesome so far. Christian Campbell now at the 3 spot. And he will drive that into center field, and it does find purchase in center field. So a 2-out single for Christian Campbell as Chandler's given up his first pitch. It's now 1-1, and a slider on the outer edge fools him. 1-2 against Isaac. No bite on the curveball there as it drops under the zone to even at 2-2. And that goes inside. It's not called for a strike, and Chandler can't believe it. So where else do I got to put it? Come on, man. Across the plate to get there. So it's a full count instead. Here we go. And he'll watch strike 3. A fastball on the bottom half of the zone, and Chandler's out of the first. Top of the second now, and it's 2-2 against Chase DeLauder. And that comes right back at Bubba Chandler, and he recovers to throw it to first. And we've got our first out in the top of the second.
No strike.
Coach says, thank goodness that didn't hurt him. 2-0 against Gillen. Oh, that's hit really well, and it goes back to center field. It will split the gap between them. And that will be a 1-out double for Theo Gillen. As Bubba Chandler now has a runner in scoring position with only 1 out. Walker Jenkins hit well going back into left field, and we are there. Runner attempting to advance and swiftly turns back to remain on base at second. All right, Chandler just needs 1 more out to get out of this without giving up a run. And that's pulled into center field. There we go. We're posted underneath it. And that's 2 clean innings for Bubba Chandler. And they're going to go ahead and switch to, hey, it's Ricky Tiedemann. There's some 2 idiots royalty right there. I miss that kid. And that's where we're going to end it today. We talked about the future of this franchise with the draft and showing Bubba Chandler. Can't wait to see where else we go. Thank you, guys. I'll see you soon.